Ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome to you. My name is Amreen Malik. और ओपन के दोस्तों की वजह से कुछ ऐसे काम भी करने पड़ते हैं जिनका दिल नहीं भी चाहता. But I'm very happy to be here. I'll be here with you for next 2 hours to introduce our first 3 guests. मैं छोटा सा अपना इंट्रोडक्शन खुद कराती जाऊँ. मैं बैंकर हूँ, सोशल एंटरप्रेन्योर हूँ, टीचर भी हूँ और डेवलपमेंट जंकी हूँ. I am a graduate of London School of Economics. I was an expat Pakistani who has come home after 9 years, and I am just delighted to be back home. Currently, I am working with a microfinance bank as the head of branches banking, product development and marketing. Open से मेरा introduction 2 साल पहले थे जब मुझे actually as a speaker बुलाया गया था. I was experimenting with a social enterprise back then. Great experience and a great experiment indeed. NUST के साथ मेरा experience as a teacher है, so I am very happy to be here at NUST on open event. It's quite a coincidence. जो आपने बात की इस वक्त that हम लोगों को encourage करते हैं कि आप entrepreneurs बन जाएं, लेकिन हमारे पास एक ecosystem नहीं है जो चाहिए हम लोगों को support करने के लिए. उस ecosystem को develop करने के लिए लोग चाहिए, वक्त चाहिए और वक्त निकालना पड़ेगा. So जब हम सारे मिल के बात करते हैं, दूसरे को facilitate करते हैं, तो चीज़ें बेहतर होना शुरू हो जाती हैं. From the last 2 years, how I've seen Open has evolved and how people who come onto this forum has evolved, I think it has been incredible. So ये होता रहना चाहिए है, ज़्यादा होता रहना चाहिए और हमारे जैसे लोगों को टाइम निकाल के आते रहना चाहिए ताकि हम अपनी गलतियाँ, अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस लोगों को पास कर सकें और जो चीज़ें हमने सीखी हम आपके साथ शेयर कर सकें. मैंने joining when I decided to join a microfinance institution, I realized Open का एक बहुत बड़ा रोल था उस डिसीजन में और वो रोल ये था कि जब मैं माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स से मिलती थी, छोटे छोटे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स से मिलती थी, उनके लिए फंडिंग एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम था. A problem that most of us have faced as entrepreneurs as well. I have dedicated my career now in trying to help micro entrepreneurs get funding as a microfinance bank. So अगर Open के साथ मेरी interaction ना होती तो शायद मेरा thought process उस वक्त कभी नहीं जाता. So Open, thank you very much for doing what you've done. So we'll stop there. I believe we, our friends at Open and PlumGrid have worked hard together to produce a video that will showcase Islamabad. So over to the technical team. guest today is Adnan Shahid, who is the Chief Commercial Officer at PTCL. He has over 20 years of professional experience. Adnan has held technology, marketing and strategy leadership positions in different industry verticals. He has also founded 2 companies, so he also happens to be an entrepreneur. In his current role as the Chief Commercial Officer at PTCL, he's responsible for voice, broadband, multimedia business at PTCL, including the new product design, custom care, experience management, and marketing communications. Adnan is electrical engineer, and believe it or not, he is a NUST graduate. He also holds a master's degree from MIT in Innovation and Global Leadership. He also holds the distinction of being a Legatum Fellow, MIT Legatum Center for Development and Entrepreneurship, which is a leading center for supporting entrepreneurial ventures in developing economies. Adnan has built several teams in his career and is in a perfect position to actually advise on the importance of finding the right hands, right brains, and right mindsets. I am particularly very excited to introduce him because we also happen to be colleagues. So Adnan, over to you. Please welcome Adnan Shahid.
इसलिए दे शुड बी वेरी, मैं सुबह सैटरडे को कराया 25 मिनट का लेके आया हूँ तो 25 मिनट। दूसरी बात ये है कि जी आई एम हियर विद अदनान शाहिद, और अगर आप में से किसी कोई पीटीसीएल के टेलीफोन के मसले हैं और आप दिल में कुछ सोच रहे हैं तो सेम टू यू, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट। ओपन में आपको खुशामदीद जी। डॉक्टर साहब ने कहा था कि आज की थीम के मुताबिक भी, तो मैंने भी कल रात को गूगल पे जितना ट्रक आर्ट मुझे मिला मैंने अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन में डाला, पर मैं साथ साथ ये भी बताना चलूँ बिकॉज इट्स फॉर नॉन कमर्शियल यूज, सो आई विल मेक दैट दिस इज अंडर द क्रिएटिव कॉमन्स एट्रीब्यूशन लाइसेंस। आई हैव नॉट पेड फॉर इट, नाइदर डिड ओपन पे मी टू बाय दिस आर्ट वर्क एंड पुट इट हियर अक्रॉस, सो इसलिए उसका कोई ताल्लुक इसके साथ नहीं है। मुझे ये आप सब जब आ रहे थे, डॉक्टर साहब बता रहे थे कि सीक्स ने कितना काम किया ओपन के लिए, अमरीन ने कहा कि उनकी जॉब जो है उसमें भी ओपन का बड़ा रोल है। मेरे साथ कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है जी। मैं आपको ये बताना चाहूँ, मुझे तो डर लग रहा था यहाँ आते हुए। उसकी वजह ये है कि 7-8 साल पहले नस्ट के अंदर ही सीक्स में डॉक्टर अशद ने इसी तरह का सिम्पोजियम कराया था जिसमें मैं बड़ी अच्छी तरह नौकरी कर रहा था, और ये जो साहब कोने में ग्रीन वेस्टकोट में बैठे हैं ये भी बड़ी अच्छी नौकरी कर रहे थे। हम आए स्टूडेंट से मिले और हमने कहा कि बड़ा अच्छा होता है अगर आप अपना स्टार्टअप कर लें। एक स्टूडेंट पीछे से खड़ा हुआ, उसने कहा हमें कहते हैं स्टार्टअप करके खुद बैठे नौकरियां कर रहे हैं। और उसके जनाब आई थिंक विद इन 6 months अवैस ने भी छोड़ के क्लिक आउट स्टार्ट कर दिया, और अच्छा खासा मैं नौकरी छोड़ के जो है 2 स्टार्टअप में पड़े, जिनमें से एक बंद भी हो गई, फेलियर पूरी तरह। तो बड़ी मुश्किल से 8 साल के बाद मैं दोबारा नौकरी पे आया और आज दोबारा इधर आ रहा हूँ, तो अब मुझे दोबारा डर लग रहा है कि ये जो स्टार्टअप का कीड़ा है दोबारा धंधा ना हो जाए और इसके बाद पता चले 6 महीने बाद एक अच्छी खासी नौकरी में फिर छोड़ूं। तो ऐसा मैं सिर्फ आपको इससे बता रहा हूँ कि दिस इज माय पर्सनल स्टोरी एंड आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर विद यू। आई एम नॉट कि जी मैं जो है ना अपनी लिविंग के लिए कोई तकरीरें शकीरें करता रहता हूँ और बोलता रहता हूँ, पर मुझे जो है बहुत से लोगों ने जो इस तरह के इवेंट्स पे आते हैं उन्होंने कहा कि जी जब भी कोई अपनी टॉक स्टार्ट करें और सुबह का वक्त हो और वो भी सैटरडे का दिन हो, तो कोई अच्छी हल्की फुल्की एक्टिविटी से स्टार्ट किया हो। उन्होंने एक टेक्निकल वर्ड भी उसके लिए इस्तेमाल किया कि जी इसको कहते हैं आइस ब्रेकर। अब मैं आपको ये बता दूँ कि जी मैं तो नस्ट का पढ़ा हूँ, इधर कितने नस्ट वाले बैठे हैं, कोई ईएमई कॉलेज का नहीं है। ये देखिए ईएमई कॉलेज वाले आपको बताएंगे कि हमारे पास जो है ना कोई ज़्यादा कोई एंटरटेनमेंट होती नहीं है। हमारे आइस ब्रेकर भी जो है क्विज श्विज ही हो जाते हैं और ज़्यादा नंबरों शंबरों के अलावा हम ये भी कॉलेज में कुछ नहीं करते। सो मैं भी अगर इजाज़त हो तो 2 मिनट में आपका जो है छोटा सा एक ऑन स्पॉट क्विज टाइप कर लेता हूँ और फिर उसके बाद जो है जो बिल्डिंग फाउंडिंग टीम है उसके। सो आई वुड जस्ट लाइक योर अटेंशन प्लीज to all of you, and I hope that it won't require you to take a piece of paper or pencil. You can do it as a mathematical model in your mental as a mental model. So can I please request you, if you can think of any number between 1 to 10. कोई सा नंबर जो 1 और 10 में आपके जहन में आए, और 7 वाले को नहीं बता रहा, सोच लिया क्या आपने? किसी ने अभी तक ना सोचा? अच्छा नहीं, उसको आप मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं 9 से। आई एम होपिंग कि अभी तक अगर आप यहाँ पे पहुंच के 9 का टेबल आपको आता हो, तो अगर आपने 1 से 10 के दरमियान में कोई भी नंबर सोचा है, उसको 9 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए। करिए, किसी को कोई एक्सेल का मॉडल वगैरह जरूरत हो, कैलकुलेटर वगैरह की, 7 वाले को ना बताइएगा। उसके जो भी आपका आंसर आया है उनको आपस में ऐड करें। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आपका 18 आंसर था, 1 + 8 = 9, तो जो भी आपका नंबर आया उसको आपस में ऐड करना हो गया। नाउ यू शुड बी ऑन अ सिंगल डिजिट। एवरीबॉडी ऑन अ सिंगल डिजिट? यस। ओके, गुड जी। इसमें से 5 माइनस करें, ये भी इतना मुश्किल नहीं होना चाहिए, इसीलिए हम सिंगल डिजिट्स के ऊपर खेलें। हो गया? वैसे आपको कोई मसला वगैरह? अब आप ये करिए कि जो भी आपका नंबर है उसको एक अल्फाबेट के साथ एसोसिएट करिए। फॉर एग्जांपल, 1 = A, 2 = B, 3 = C, 4 = D, 5 = E. So you should now have that number corresponding to an alphabet. हो गया? सबके पास एक अल्फाबेट आ गया। So you should all have one alphabet. I would like you to think of a country name starting with that alphabet. Right? Don't tell anybody. Please, it's a mental model. You have to do it on yourself. Just now you should have a country name. The last alphabet of that country name. Think of an animal. Any animal. So आपने एक country सोची, for example, अगर आपने इंग्लैंड सोची है, so the last alphabet is D. D से dog. So think of a country, and with the country के जो last alphabet है, think of an animal. And with the last character of the animal, think of a color. Color. देखिए ना जी, अगर आपने इंग्लैंड सोचा, उसका लास्ट कैरेक्टर था डी, डी से आपने डॉग सोचा, लास्ट कैरेक्टर इज जी, सो जी से ग्रीन, सो नॉर्मल। सो नाउ इन दिस हॉल, जिसकी कैपेसिटी बहुत ज्यादा है और रजिस्ट्रेशन भी आपकी बहुत ज्यादा होगी, बस 16 कम लोग रहे हैं, एवरीबडी मस्ट हैव अ कंट्री नेम, दे शुड हैव एन एनिमल एंड अ कलर, करेक्ट? So I am not like one of those illusionists that you see on Facebook and say I can bet what you have actually thought, but I will try and I will say maybe who should I pick up? Anybody would say, I think that you picked up Denmark, kangaroo and orange. So my guess is this is what orange. How many thought Denmark? So it's a pretty neat one. Now let's get, now that I've got your attention, now please focus what I have to say. This is just as a warm up to get you going across with me. So I've been tasked to actually find out the secret formula of saying how do you build the right founding team. So one of my professors when I was studying and I was a Latin fellow once said that starting a company is like having kids. So some of you may be lucky to have kids, others may have seen kids in their family. What happens when you have your firstborn? You remember each and everything that the kid does. आज उसने गागा कर दिया, आज वो रोल ओवर हो गया, आज उसने पहला स्टेप ले लिया, आज पहला बैठ गया, आज उसने सॉलिड खा लिया। ऐसे actually this is what every parent or every person who has a kid in life enjoys and rejoices and cherishes each and every milestone that the kid does. And then you realize it's hard work. You have to still raise that kid till 18 years of age when he or she can go out and live on their own. Starting a company is also like that. It is It starts with that moments of joy and experience that you've got your first customer, your first prototype, your first employee, your first chair, the first check, the first office. And it gives you a lot of excitement. But then you realize कि ये एक customer से तो बात नहीं बनेगी. The first payment is not going to take it forward. It needs decades of hard work till the company stands on its own and starts making money. So the first thing that I said was, it's like having kids. How do you have kids? It takes a man and a woman in 9 months to make a baby. Unfortunately, NUS rules don't allow me to elaborate this any further. But I'm hoping that you get the idea that it is not just one person, it takes two to tango, and then a man and woman in a 9 months time period makes a baby. Same is the case with startups. You need to find that right formula of finding people who can make this happen. There is no secret formula to say that this person, this type of background, this academic qualification would do across. But one thing is for sure, जो वो कहते हैं ना जी, this is not a one-man job. It's not, you can't run a company as a one-person thing. अगर जैसे वो ट्रक आर्ट के ऊपर पीछे लिखा होता है कली सवारी पार्टिकल वाली, this is not like that कि जी, this is because you can't be doing marketing, you can't be doing finance, you can't be hiring people, you can't be doing technical work. So this brings me that if some of you have actually seen, I wish there was a dress code that we could put people on and say it's like Lego blocks. Everybody wears a dress and then we'll see whoever interlocks. But it doesn't happen like that. So one more thing that I have to check up from the audience. How many of you have seen that HBO series Silicon Valley? If not, I would strongly recommend that if you're thinking of starting especially a tech startup on a technology space, must watch. It's one of those HBO series. I think they are now starting the season 4. It's a 30-minute thing about 3 software developers coming together to make a brilliant compression software known as PyPy. This is one of the few TV programs that you'll find that shows a Pakistani also as one of the lead founding members in this. We've still not been able to figure out why that Pakistani character was named Dinesh. But he's actually named Dinesh and he's out there. So I will, if you've not seen, I'll try to pick up some of the relevance from this particular series and quote them across. So the first question that people ask me is, how big should be the founding team? How many people should I get along? कितने बंदे में लीजिए? Should it be 4? Should it be 6? Should it be 2? So I don't know what the right answer is. But I can tell you with my experience and things that I did and which we did not work out, the smaller the team, the better it is. Research shows that the ideal team size should be between 2 to 4. It should not be 5 or 6, but something like 2 to 4. And I'll take an average and say, let's make it 3. Let's say that you have a founding team of 3 people. 3 people are essential. Why? Because you need to have a subject matter expert. You need to have somebody who will be your growth driver to go out and get business and do sales and marketing. And the third person, based on what you want, could be an internal or external expert in saying, I will help you in the management of this operation. I could be providing you more on the technical side of things, but that's an ideal thing. Remember, you are starting a small company, which means that your strength is your flexibility and your ability to take decisions fast. If you have a 6-member founding team and you have to buy something as small as a printer, I can assure you, you'll be having minimum 5 conversations to convince one person whether it should be a color printer, should it be a laser printer, should it be an inkjet printer, and it just delays your decision making. As a startup, you need to be fast and flexible. So in my idea, pick up skills which are about people with relevant skills of about 2 to 3, maximum 4 people in your founding team. The next thing is, what skills do I need? Should I go out and pick up people that I like or I have worked with? So my advice to you is, if you're building up your founding team, find people with complementing skill sets. So if you are a technology person, you need to find another person who does things like finance where you don't have strength. Don't find another techie to work with you because you are the technical expert. Secondly, it is extremely important that whatever business you are going to start, whether you want to start a roll paratha lounge, you want to start a software development house, or you want to go out and do retail or e-commerce, you must be either yourself a subject matter expert or hire somebody as a co-founder who knows what or has a deep understanding of the business that you are getting into. So I'll share an example. I met a team who had a very interesting idea of saying they want to start a bakery with 3D cakes. So the first section was all cakes are 3D actually. They said, no, we are actually going to make 3D cakes, which means a football will look like a football. The doll will be like a doll. So, and the house will actually be a house. And we said, no, that's a really nice idea, the bakery may work. And then I asked them, any one of you do baking? They said, no. We've never been to kitchen also. Baking, I don't know what baking is. So how do you plan to run a bakery which is going to make these cakes without any knowledge of baking yourself? And he said, we'll hire a chef. So my first thing is always hire subject matter experts as your co-founder. Those who know, because that's going to be a core foundation on which your company is going to stand up. And expertise is extremely important. And if people say HTML is like how to meet ladies, that expertise doesn't work. You need actually HTML people or PHP or Ruby on Rails or whatever it is. But it is not that I just come up and say, you know what, semester number 4, 6th class, I also took HTML. I can be a techie. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to have deep understanding of it. You need to find people who are passionate and motivated to work with. It's going to be a hard and a very, very stressful journey. It's not an easy going. You need to find people. If you find hard, motivated people, best. That's the ultimate formula. But if you want to go out, then find people who are passionate about it, who actually believe in your idea. Remember, you are trying to get people to believe in an idea which is so small. And that small idea of your startup should be able to excite people and say, when I am excited, I will leave whatever else I am doing and come and work here. That's the type of motivation, that's the type of passion that you want in your team. So, it's as I say, it's not magic. Companies will not start happening just because it's, you get in some magical formula from Harry Potter and say, it will, tada, it's going to happen. It's going to take talent and sweat, and even in some cases your blood, because, high blood pressure, cholesterol, whatever, it's going to be very, very stressful. I had really good hair before I started my startup. So this is just another indication that, it's a... The second thing, a third thing people is, who should join me as a founding team? Should I ask my friends, family to join me? And this is very true. When you passionately share the idea and say, I want to start this thing, your friends also get excited, your family will get excited, your best friend will get excited. And they'll say, yaar, waki bada acha hai, I want to work with this. Let me also be part of this team. This is such a brilliant idea. And that's where the basic question that you have to ask, how convinced, motivated, and committed are these friends? Are they going to work part-time? Are they going to say, I want to help, but I'm not going to leave my job? Are they going to say, no, call me in when you need this thing, but I want to be a co-founder of this thing? Friends, my learning never works. You need to have people who will actually commit and say, I will work with you on this. Some of you may start up something and then go to investors. Think that when you are writing that business plan for an investor to come and invest in your idea or your startup, and you write, we've just got a new co-founder who is still at university, or we have got somebody who's working part-time on this thing, or our co-founder also works at XYZ Inc. The investor's mind would change and work in a different way. I'm not saying they're not going to invest, but think about coming together as a team and saying, you know what, after 5 years of working in this company, he left this job because he believed in this idea and is now working full-time on it. That's what the investors would be really interested in. You know, the founding team is so passionate about the idea, they let go of their cushy job and then came in and worked on this thing. Or they left that particular project that they were working in and have now dedicated themselves onto this thing. So that's very, very important. So those who say, you know, I'm interested in working remotely for you guys, doesn't work. If you have a founding team that says, you know, call me in every time you need, I'm only a Skype away. No, in my opinion, the team needs to really gel in together if they are founding members. That's why I said, find 2-3 people that are available to you as and when you need your business to work with. Not on call, not to work remotely, not part-time, not when you need them. They are good to be part of your advisors. They can be good in your team, but they are not your founding members that you need. So if you find passionate people who are there with you, that's best. But then I also think that the single biggest factor that helps team gel in together, and that would be one secret formula that can make a business or a startup work, is if the co-founders have worked together previously. In my opinion, that's and this is based on, if you know and you have worked with that person in your previous capacity and you know you can work together, that's the best person to go along. But sometimes it's not that easy to find that right skill set. So you are looking for a finance person or an HR person or a marketing person, and you've never worked with him or her before. So what do? You know, what's then, you know, आप OLX पे से have a co-founder required. By the way, this is happening. You know, if some of you are on the startup pages on Facebook, I had 1 million rupees, I'm looking for a co-founder, please come and apply. It's, in my opinion, if that's the thing where you are actually stuck and can't find it, then please try exercising what we call, or I would like to call it, at the trial option. Tell people, you know what, let's work for a few months together and see if 2 of us or 3 of us can work it out. Please do it before you sign the shareholder agreements. So before you give in 50% of your company to somebody that you have never worked with, by the way, giving 50% of your company on anything is a bad idea. Because 50 is an even number where this is going off the theme and it could be covered somewhere else, but define the right shareholder agreement is it. Never give up something without you have tried out the person or the founding team that has actually said, you know what, we can work together. We can actually come together, we can work at the stress, we have aligned vision, we are on the same mission, and just do it for 3 months. See if it works out. If it does, put it into a, before that you could have a founding partner agreement which would list out what will be your terms and conditions, how will you exit out of it if we can't work, if I can't work with you, what will happen, but just put that thing across as a trial period on things. I believe that you need to believe in the values of your startup that you're going to create. Values are extremely, extremely important on what your business is going to be. And often I find companies coming up with a vision statement or a mission statement or even the values which look, feel and sound good. They pick up a word, then they do shift F7 to sort of pick up a very fancy word and say replace it with this because you know that's what the value of the company will look like. I'll very briefly share, if you noticed that a couple of weeks back we did a partnership with Netflix in Pakistan, and that gave me an opportunity to work very closely with Netflix. And I was truly amazed by Netflix and how they work. So I got access to what they call as the Netflix culture. And if those of you are interested should Google it out. How does Netflix pick up the right person, then give them the right environment? Because a stunning workplace is not because it has great furniture or building. A stunning workplace is where you have remarkable colleagues and workers to work with. So when Netflix was asked, they said, many companies have nice sounding value statements in their reception area saying integrity, communication, respect, and excellence. But actually, they don't believe in this thing. These are the values and behaviors and skills that should be followed by each and every employee of your company. The co-founder should not surprise the employees by saying, it's okay to pass this thing across. It's okay to let go of text and not pay it across. Because you're being dishonest. And if you say honesty is my biggest value, then you have to live, breathe, and execute it along with it. And if you, as a founder, cannot believe in your values, you will never find co-founders who will believe in those values and say it's okay. So you need to come up with a value and say, look, as they say, I will not lie, steal, or cheat. But then say, I will also not tolerate anybody who does this in my company. And when you do that and say, look, a co-founder will make sure that I will work. Now, he could be a great techie. He could be working extremely well on the code that you want him to or her to write about. But if you can't put these values in line with your values and the values that you are building your startup with, it's not worth it. I'd just like to give you in the end 6 lessons that you can take out and from a very simple game that some of you may have played. Previously I used to say, and mostly people used to say, yes, all of us have played Angry Birds. Now people say, actually talk about Candy Crush, Dude, Angry Birds is history. I still enjoy Angry Birds. I think it's one of the greatest games to be ever made on a smartphone. 6 things that I think Angry Bird teaches you when you're trying to found your startup, and in particular, the founding team. Number 1, there are no rules given when you start playing Angry Birds. को आपको मिलता है ट्यूटोरियल कि अब ये करना है आपने ये करना है. You have to play to figure out. It's true for your startup also. There are no rules. You have to be in it to find out what's it going to be. You have to play the game to understand what are the rules, and that's when you start up your thing and you have your idea, that's when you learn a lot of things. It's easy to stand up here and say, do this, do this, do this. But the proof of that actual execution is when you do it yourselves. Number 2, in Angry Birds, each bird has a specific skill set. The black one explodes out, I think it's the yellow one which will multiply across, the red one will come across, and then those who are dropping bombs also. So each bird has a very specific skill set. And each level you need to be able to use that skill set mastery to cross that level. If you are a startup and a co-founder, the first role that you have to take is that of a chief talent manager. You need to find out in your team what is the specific strength and weakness of a particular individual. And if you're able to harness that strength and say this particular bird is good at this type of job and I can use him there, then you have made. So you have to identify each bird on their talents and each team member on their particular talent. Number 3, if you play Angry Birds, after the first attempt, you know you won't cross this stage. What do? जल्दी जल्दी आप दोबारा बारी करते हैं ताकि ये stage खत्म हो, let's restart the game. Because you know you're not going to recover. This is very true. Sometimes the market changes, the technology changes, there are other disruptive forces, and it is possible that your idea is not worth taking it forward. It's okay to restart. Assemble that team again and say, look, guys, we did everything right. We were aligned, we were working well, but the idea just didn't click. Don't just keep on playing the game knowing you're not going to win. Quickly restart and assemble, because that's how good startups work. Because it's not that your first startup has to be successful. It's how you learn from the first to apply your second to make the third a success. Number 4, different problems require different specialists. As I mentioned earlier also, in Angry Birds, every level would come up with a different set of birds to cross it across. This is true for your life of your startup also. You start with a founding team. As you go forward, you need to hire employees, you need to hire a tax consultant, a legal advisor, you need to find those who will help you with regulatory affairs and getting permissions from government and so on and so forth. And that's when you realize that every stage of your company, you need to find a specific skill set which will make you go to the next level. Number 5, some goals require more birds. There will be some assignments or some companies or some startups that would require a bigger team to make it happen. This is how Angry Birds happen. In some stages you'll be able to cross it with 3 birds, in other you'll have to multiply those 3 into 9 and then make it happen. And last, which I think is very, very important and true for this particular thing, there is more than one way to win. You and I think